Welcome to Captivating Home, your go-to channel for charming home and garden inspiration. Today, we're diving into the enchanting world of cottage gardens in spring and how you can creatively upcycle vintage finds to make the most of a small garden space. Whether you're a seasoned gardener or just starting, we'll explore how to transform your garden with character, history, and sustainability in mind. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more creative ideas. A cottage garden is all about natural beauty, informality, and abundance, but when space is limited, smart upcycling can make all the difference. Imagine repurposing old furniture, vintage containers, or antique decor to create a whimsical and functional outdoor retreat. In this video, we'll explore 20 creative ideas to help you bring this vision to life, making your garden not only lush and colorful, but also uniquely yours. One, upcycled planters for a rustic charm. One of the best ways to add vintage charm to your spring garden is by using upcycled planters. Instead of purchasing new pots, look for old teapots, metal buckets, wooden crates, or even repurposed drawers to house your favorite flowers and herbs. These items bring a sense of nostalgia and storytelling while offering an eco-friendly way to decorate your small garden. Arrange them at different heights to create a layered, visually appealing space. Spring is the perfect time to fill these upcycled containers with seasonal blooms like pansies, tulips, and daisies, which thrive in cooler temperatures. To ensure proper drainage, drill small holes at the bottom of metal or wooden containers and add a layer of pebbles before adding soil. The result: a charming, eco-conscious cottage garden filled with color and personality, without spending a fortune on new pots. 2. Repurpose furniture as garden features. Instead of discarding old furniture, why not give it a new life in your garden? An antique chair can become a unique flower stand, while an old dresser with missing drawers can transform into a tiered plant display. Even a rusted metal bed frame can be turned into a romantic garden trellis for climbing roses or ivy. These unexpected pieces bring a sense of history and elegance to any small garden space. 'Spring is the ideal season to refresh and protect these items with a coat of weatherproof paint or a rustic distressed finish. Soft pastels or muted earth tones will blend beautifully with the natural surroundings. Place them in cozy corners or along pathways to create a picturesque cottage garden atmosphere that feels both nostalgic and enchanting. 3. Vintage garden accessories for a storybook look. Small vintage accessories can make a big impact in a springtime cottage garden. Think of old watering cans, lanterns, bird cages, or even bicycle wheels repurposed as decorative elements. These forgotten treasures add depth and character, making your garden feel like a scene from a classic English countryside. Plus, they can be easily moved around to refresh the look throughout the season. Try filling antique bird cages with cascading flowers, using a worn-out watering can as a hanging planter, or repurposing glass jars into charming lanterns with fairy lights. These subtle, budget-friendly details enhance the whimsical and romantic charm of a cottage garden, creating a magical retreat where nature and nostalgia blend effortlessly. 4. Salvaged wood and metal for DIY garden borders. A well-defined garden layout can make a small space feel organized yet inviting, and using salvaged wood or metal is a fantastic way to achieve this while keeping sustainability in mind. Reclaimed wood can be turned into rustic raised beds or garden edging, while old metal gates or railings make beautiful decorative borders. This not only repurposes materials, but also helps create a structured, yet charmingly imperfect cottage garden look. 'With spring's fresh energy, this is the perfect time to gather reclaimed materials and design custom garden paths or partitions. Try layering bricks, using broken terracotta for natural edging, or arranging weathered wooden planks into artistic designs. These DIY elements bring authentic charm, ensuring that every corner of your garden tells a unique story while maximizing space efficiently. 5. Vintage trellises and arbors for vertical gardening. When space is limited, vertical gardening is a game changer, and upcycled trellises and arbors add both height and elegance to a cottage garden. Old wooden ladders, iron headboards, or even vintage window frames can be repurposed into beautiful climbing supports for vines, roses, and sweet peas. This technique not only maximizes planting space, but also creates a dreamy, overgrown effect that's essential to cottage garden aesthetics. To make the most of spring's growing season, position these upcycled structures where they'll receive plenty of sunlight, and plant climbing flowers or trailing ivy to soften their look over time. Adding a repurposed trellis to a small garden introduces vertical interest, privacy, and a romantic touch, making even the tiniest garden feel lush and inviting. 6. Antique mirrors and reflective surfaces to expand space. One of the best-kept secrets for making a small garden feel larger is the use of antique mirrors and reflective surfaces. A weathered vintage mirror placed against a fence or garden wall creates the illusion of depth, making your cottage garden feel more expansive and enchanting. Look for ornate, distressed frames that complement the rustic charm of a cottage-style space, while subtly bouncing light around to enhance the garden's natural glow. Spring sunshine brings out the best in reflective surfaces, so why not go beyond mirrors? Try using old metal trays, salvaged window panes with glass, or even upcycled vintage picture frames with mirrored inserts. Position them strategically among climbing plants or near cozy seating areas to create a magical garden ambience where flowers and foliage seem to extend beyond their actual borders. 7. Vintage china and crockery as garden decor. If you have chipped or mismatched vintage china, don't throw it away, turn it into charming cottage garden decor. Teacups and saucers make adorable tiny planters for succulents or small herbs, while old plates can be used as whimsical edging for flower beds. This is a wonderful way to incorporate delicate floral patterns and soft pastel hues into your garden, adding a romantic and nostalgic touch. Spring gardens thrive with creative, unexpected details, and vintage crockery is an easy way to achieve that. Hang old ceramic plates on fences, turn tea kettles into unique bird feeders, or even use porcelain bowls as water features for birds and pollinators. These upcycled elements create an artful, storybook-like setting, ensuring that every little corner of your garden holds a bit of old-world charm. 8. Upcycled garden pathways with reclaimed materials. A well-designed garden path can define the space while adding character and functionality, and spring is the perfect time to create one using reclaimed materials. Broken tiles, old bricks, salvaged wood planks, or even mismatched stepping stones can be repurposed into a charming, meandering path that fits the rustic aesthetic of a cottage garden. Mixing textures and colors adds a whimsical and inviting feel. 'Instead of a uniform walkway, let springtime inspiration guide you in creating an organic, storybook-style path. Lay reclaimed bricks in a herringbone pattern, scatter weathered wooden slices as stepping stones, or use antique iron grates for a rustic touch. Over time, moss, creeping thyme, or small flowers will grow between the gaps, softening the look and making the path blend beautifully with nature. 9. Repurposed window frames and doors for garden dividers. Cottage gardens often feel cozy yet full of hidden nooks, and one way to achieve that effect in a small space is by using repurposed window frames and doors as decorative garden dividers. A salvaged wooden door can create a secret garden entrance, while old window frames can be turned into trellises or outdoor wall art, adding height and visual interest. 'Spring is all about renewal, making it the perfect season to upcycle vintage doors and windows into garden features. Paint them in soft whites, pale blues, or distressed wood tones, then position them near garden beds or along pathways. As the season progresses, climbing roses, ivy, or wisteria will weave through them, creating a fairy tale-like garden with an irresistible old-world charm. 10. Rustic metal and wrought iron accents for a timeless feel. Wrought iron and aged metal accents bring a touch of timeless elegance to a cottage garden, especially when paired with soft, overflowing greenery. Instead of discarding old iron gates, railings, or vintage metal furniture, consider repurposing them as decorative elements or functional supports for plants. Their intricate designs complement the romantic and nostalgic atmosphere of a spring garden. spring's fresh growth looks even more stunning when set against a backdrop of weathered metal. An antique iron headboard can be transformed into a climbing structure, or an old garden gate can be propped against a wall for an artistic focal point. These materials develop a natural patina over time, blending beautifully with the changing seasons and adding depth to your small garden retreat. (11) Vintage wooden ladders for multi-level plant displays. A vintage wooden ladder is one of the most versatile and space-saving upcycling ideas for a small cottage garden. Leaning against a wall or fence, it can serve as a tiered plant display, holding terracotta pots, cascading flowers, or even small herb gardens. Its weathered look blends perfectly with the rustic, romantic aesthetic of a spring garden. As spring brings lush new growth, arrange the ladder with seasonal flowers like violas, petunias, or trailing lobelia to create a stunning vertical feature. Paint or distress the wood to match your garden's color palette, or leave it with its natural wear for an authentic vintage appeal. This simple yet effective idea adds height, maximizes space, and turns an ordinary ladder into a stunning garden centerpiece. (12) Birdhouses and feeders with a vintage touch. A cottage garden wouldn't be complete without the sound of chirping birds, and spring is the best time to welcome them with vintage-inspired birdhouses and feeders. Repurpose old wooden boxes, teapots, or small lanterns into charming bird shelters, creating a picturesque and wildlife-friendly garden. These unique upcycled pieces add both function and character, making your garden feel alive and inviting. Set up your handmade birdhouses in cozy, sheltered spots and let nature take its course. A distressed wooden bird feeder on a vintage post, or even an antique cup filled with seeds, can attract a variety of birds, adding movement and life to your garden. This simple addition enhances the natural ecosystem, ensuring your cottage garden is a true retreat for both plants and wildlife. 13. Repurposed fabric and linens for cozy outdoor spaces. Adding soft, vintage textiles to a small cottage garden creates a welcoming and cozy outdoor retreat. Instead of buying new outdoor cushions or throws, look for upcycled lace curtains, faded floral tablecloths, or repurposed grain sacks. These textiles add a touch of softness and romance, turning your garden into a charming space perfect for relaxing in the spring sunshine. 'Spring breezes feel even more magical when paired with flowing vintage fabrics draped over a garden bench, hung as an outdoor canopy, or even stitched into seat cushions. Incorporating faded rose-patterned quilts, linen napkins, or embroidered fabric enhances the nostalgic feel of a cottage garden, making every moment spent outdoors feel like stepping into a timeless countryside dream. 14. Mason jars and vintage glassware for garden lighting. Soft, ambient lighting is essential for creating a magical cottage garden atmosphere, especially in the mild spring evenings. Instead of buying new outdoor lights, repurpose vintage mason jars, antique glass bottles, or old oil lamps into charming lanterns. These upcycled pieces add a romantic glow, making your garden feel cozy and inviting after sunset. 'Springtime gatherings feel extra special with a garden illuminated by handmade vintage lighting. Fill mason jars with fairy lights, candles, or solar-powered LED strands, and hang them from tree branches, pergolas, or repurposed iron hooks. The soft, twinkling effect transforms a small garden into a whimsical escape, where every evening feels like a scene from a fairy tale. 15. Upcycled barrels and tubs for rustic water features. The sound of trickling water brings a sense of tranquility to any cottage garden, and vintage barrels, old metal wash tubs, or repurposed stone basins make perfect DIY water features. These rustic finds add old-world charm while providing a refreshing focal point that attracts birds and pollinators to your garden. as spring bursts into bloom. Enhance the natural beauty of your small garden by turning an antique copper tub into a mini pond, or use a whiskey barrel as a cascading water fountain. Add floating water lilies or small fish, and let nature take over. These simple, sustainable additions bring movement, sound, and life to even the smallest of garden spaces. 16. Repurpose garden tools as decorative accents. Old, weathered garden tools don't have to be discarded, they can become beautifully nostalgic garden decor. Vintage spades, rakes, and hoes can be mounted on a garden wall or fence, creating a rustic display full of history and charm. These well-worn tools tell a story of the past, while blending seamlessly into a springtime cottage garden. 'Spring's fresh greenery provides the perfect backdrop for upcycled tool decor. Hang rustic watering cans filled with trailing flowers, or transform an old wooden wheelbarrow into a blooming flower bed. Even a vintage shovel handle can be used as a unique plant trellis, adding personality and sustainability to your garden design. 17. Wicker baskets and vintage crates for portable planters. Wicker baskets and old wooden crates are not just for storage, they make ideal portable planters for a cottage garden. Their lightweight nature allows you to easily move plants around, adjusting to the best sunlight spots as spring progresses. Plus, their natural texture and vintage appeal add warmth and character to small garden spaces. 'For a true spring transformation, fill vintage crates with lavender, snapdragons, or trailing ivy, and line wicker baskets with moss and soil to plant colorful petunias. Stagger these planters along a garden pathway or porch, creating a layered, cottage-style display that can be rearranged throughout the season for a fresh look. 18. Salvage shutters and fencing for privacy and charm. If you're looking to add privacy to your small garden without sacrificing its charm, salvage shutters and repurposed fencing are perfect solutions. Weathered wooden shutters can be propped up as decorative dividers, creating cozy garden nooks, while old picket fences can be used as mini plant trellises to support climbing flowers. Springtime is ideal for repurposing these architectural finds into functional garden elements. Paint them in soft pastel shades or leave them in their natural aged state to blend seamlessly into your garden. Over time, climbing roses, honeysuckle, or clematis will weave through the cracks, turning these salvaged pieces into storybook-like garden walls filled with character. 19. Vintage signs and hand-painted garden markers. Hand-painted vintage signs add a personal touch to a cottage garden, helping label different plants or simply bringing in whimsical charm. Old wooden planks, metal trays, or salvage barnwood can be transformed into decorative garden markers, giving a homemade, rustic appeal to your outdoor space. As spring's flowers bloom, place hand-lettered signs near vegetable patches, herb gardens, or cozy seating areas. A simple "Welcome to my garden" sign or a chalk-painted slate displaying seasonal quotes instantly adds personality to your space. These DIY details create a storybook garden aesthetic, making your small space feel even more inviting. 20. Ironwork and vintage railings for garden accents. Antique iron railings, gates, and decorative grills can be repurposed into stunning garden focal points. Whether used as trellises, garden dividers, or simple ornamental details, these salvaged pieces add timeless elegance and blend beautifully with the romantic, overgrown style of a cottage garden. Spring's fresh growth will beautifully intertwine with these vintage accents, creating a dreamy, historical feel. Position an old iron gate at an entryway, or mount a decorative railing along a flower bed for structure and contrast. Over time, as climbing vines and florals wrap around the ironwork, your small garden will transform into a picturesque retreat brimming with character. Conclusion: a timeless cottage garden, one upcycled treasure at a time. Cottage gardens are not just about flowers and greenery, they tell a story of history, creativity, and sustainable beauty. By incorporating upcycled vintage finds, you can create a charming, personalized garden that feels warm, nostalgic, and inviting. Spring is the perfect time to breathe new life into forgotten treasures, turning old furniture, salvaged materials, and antique accessories into stunning garden features. With every upcycled planter, rustic trellis, and whimsical decor piece, you're not only enhancing your garden's aesthetic, but also giving new purpose to old materials. Your small garden can become a picturesque haven, full of seasonal blooms, repurposed charm, and the timeless allure of a countryside retreat. If you love these ideas, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Captivating Home for more creative and sustainable home inspirations.